Welcome back to International Scale Modeler. I'm Lee. We're finally getting around to doing the second part of the Pocher 1.8 Lamborghini LP700-4 build. It's been a little while I think. I'm not going to say exactly how long because I can't remember, but I do know that all the screws are in the same tub, so they've been put away safely. We are exactly where we left off on the last video. So I think what we'll do is we'll just jump straight into it. Now I think on the last video we managed to get the dashboard done. That was all finished and done. Go to the overhead. As you can see, all the decals and everything on there. We've got this steering wheel with, obviously it's going to move the axle and everything with the wheels on. We've also got the seating and the center console. This is all done now. It's a bit dusty, although it was covered. As you can see, all in original condition still. Fantastic, so that's good. We've also got, I'm just going to pop those over there out of the way just for the time being. And we've also got the start of the actual vehicle itself. We did the inside, we did the headliner, the wing mirrors and the rear view windscreen as well. So that's all ready to go now too. So what we've got to do, I'm just going to move this over to the side also. We're going to have a look at the instruction manual now. So we'll go to the overhead. And as you can see, it says here, we're now going to do the sidewalls for the inside. And it calls out for this. This is obviously the pedal area, and this is the sidewalls for the seating around the doors and everything. So we're looking at F5, sprue F for the main parts, some PE, which is pt2, and then this bit, which is SB. Now, I have taken the liberty of already finding a couple of those bits. I've got the SB, so these are the seat belts themselves. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in a little bit overhead so you can get a closer look on these and get that out of the way. So those are the seat belts, the SB. We've then got PE205, which is this little silver, which is this little sprue of PE in here inside this bag here. I'll just open that one up. And again, much like seat belts you get on aircraft builds, you've got two seatbelt buckles there. Now it doesn't say to fold them or anything like that, we just hang them halfway up this seatbelt. So personally I don't think they're going to stay there, but that's what we have to do. So we've got those bits there ready. I'll keep hold of that. You'll have to excuse, I spilled some polishing compound down here as I was doing the rear glass. And we've got, well, we've got here F, sprue F, which is this tiny sprue here, this one here. And so we're going to open this up. We've got the door cards are in here as well, by the looks of it, as a separate item. Yeah, so those are the inner door cards. I'll pop those over there because obviously we don't need them just yet. So it's a nice small sprue, as you can see. So what we'll do is we'll just start building, and let me zoom you out a bit on this one, and then you can see what we're doing with the sprues as well. Okay, right, so let's get cracking. Away we go. It's been a while. Right, so that is pretty much that sprue completely done. I'm just going to cut that in half so I can actually get it in the bin. That's another sprue down, thank God. Right, now I'm just going to be careful while I cut these, just going to make sure we get them on the right areas. As I say, the one thing I do like about these, even though the gates are quite large, they do cut very well indeed. They do cut very cleanly, which is very handy because it means less cleanup. A lot less cleanup. And I do apologise if you can hear children screaming and giggling. Josh has got a couple of mates around and they're in the pool. So if you do hear some children running around like lunatics, you'll know why. Right, okay, there's one piece. Right, okay, so there's the first 3 bits off of the sprue. I have to admit, I had to go and watch the previous video again before I started this because I didn't know where I was. But luckily, it's all there and documented, which is fantastic. So we're going to get these seat belts out and have a look at these. And these are literally just strips of ribbon. They're just black ribbon. I don't know if you can see that on the overhead, but they are literally strips of black ribbon. So, and they're all folded. I'm hoping, well, they're going to be folded off pretty, well, to be honest with you, I would say I'd have to iron that. Because they've finished off in a really odd shape indeed, as you can see from the overhead. I may have to go and iron those. I'm just going to see how it looks once we put it all together. So, okay, so we've got these 2 parts here, and we have, right, okay. So this part clicks into there like so. And then this part clicks into here like so. Okay. Right, okay, so these 2 parts together, they haven't really clipped together at all. They've just slotted into these 2 slots here. Now, you're meant to keep this steady, obviously, while you do the seat belts and everything. And as you can see from the overhead, I don't know if it's going to white out too much, but on the overhead, it calls you to just tie in knots at the end of the ribbon. To stop it from going through the slit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put let's cut the photo etch first. And where is my photo etch cutters? Okay. And somewhere in there should be, there isn't, but I've got those photo etch scissors. So I'm just gonna sorry about that, just had a little altercation with my son because he wasn't being very quiet or cooperative. Right, no ordinary metal this. My Tamiya P scissors are not getting through it at all. Can't get through it with a razor blade or a scalpel. So that's rather annoying. So I don't know what we're going to use here. It's really very thick. Seem to be anything that I use is going through it. It's not photo etch, it's just Right, we've got that out. Some force was needed, as you can see. It has bent the buckles a little bit, but I think that, oh god, this is I think my PE scissors are going to be a little bit ruined after this. And I'm left with big areas. So let's pop this away. So I think I'll have to go and get, to finish that off, I'm going to have to go and get a little hacksaw, junior hacksaw, just to cut that off next time, I think. And I do have a small one, but it's hidden away in a toolbox. So as you can see, we'll zoom you in on this. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got these little two belt buckles. I'm going to have to file off the ends here on each one as well. Luckily, I do have a fantastic tool for that, which is the Tamiya diamond file. This thing is 400 grit and it's absolutely fantastic. It's made for photo etch and it's really very nice indeed. So what we can just do is, obviously this is a little bit tougher than normal photo etch because it feels like steel. And if you've built any of those metal earth kits that we used to sell on Ultimate Modern products, this is twice as thick as those, 3 times as thick as those, and they were thick. So it's just a case of taking that down slowly without taking too much of anything else away. And it's quite a prominent bit. So right, okay, so now you can see that both are done. Thank you, Tamiya Diamond File. This thing is absolutely fantastic. If you've got a photo etch tool and you need to take stuff down, this is the one to have for sure. Fantastic. I think it's about 20 quid. It's not cheap, but it's totally worth it. Okay, so as you can see, these buckles are slightly bent. You should be able to see that from the overhead. I'm just going to bend it a little bit more, actually, just to give it that little 3D feel, just a bit. And that way, they look like they're going to stick out proud of the ribbons themselves. So I've got the ribbons here, so I'm just going to thread these onto the ribbons, and it says to go up and through. Okay, there you go. There's one. Right, there you go. Now it says here to tie off the ends of the seat belts, so I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to tie a little knot in each end. Actually, I think we better insert these into the stanchions first, otherwise we're going to be crying. Right. So literally it's just a case of pushing it through. I'm going to push it through, pull it up, tie a knot. Fiddly, great big fat butterfingers. Okay, let's just pull that knot right up to the top. There we go. Okay. So now, as you can see, I've got that knot stopping it going through the other side of the good thing is there's a bit of an edge inside the seat belt, so it's going to help it to sit. Although I think I might have to bend them a bit. So let's get this straight. So now we've got to decide how far and how loose we want this seat belt to go. But as you can see, the problem is that is sticking up there rather than lying flat as it's supposed to do, so I may have to do some bending on that. It's no problem. It'll be just a case with the bending pliers, I'm sure. So the trouble is, I don't want to tie this off too tight without having a look, see how it's meant to sit on the seats. Looks like the seat belts don't go over the seats, so it's going to be up the side of the car. So I'm going to tie a knot in there, and then let's have a look. I think that's perfectly good. So we've got a little bit of slack in them, although saying that they wouldn't be slack actually in the vehicle itself, but that looks good to me. Okay, so we'll do the same on this one. There you go. Okay, pop that down in there. Alrighty. So we'll do the same as I did on the other one. We'll leave a little bit of slack there to play around with. We'll pull that tight. Right, okay, so we've got a little bit on the end of that one and a tiny bit on the end of that one. Okay, good stuff. So they're not totally tight, they're a little bit slack. So what I'm looking to do now is, you can see that this seat belt sits proud when really I'm sure it's meant to lay flat. So I'm just going to bend the photo etch ever so slightly. Well, I say I'm going to bend it, but that's good steel, that. I need to put it into, if I can get away with it, while it's on here. I think I can on the edge there. Right, okay. Easier said than done, as you can see. So I've just got to get this on the edge. And there we go. Okay, so I just want to bend it a little bit this way, and even that's not having it. This is very tough photo etch, toughest photo etch I think I've ever used. So I'm just going to use the pliers to bend it. There you go, just a tad. And I'm hoping that that will be enough to make it sit properly. Well, it's sitting better than the other one, but not by a lot. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. Right, there you go. That's sitting much better. Okay, good stuff. Right. So they're in now and sitting as they should be, pretty much. I'm sure after a while they will drop themselves. Now what we're going to do is, it says here to put this together, or like so. Just make sure we get it around the right way. And then this part in here like so. Okay, oops, let's get it around the right way. Okay, there we go. So you can see that's the inside of the door cards and everything. Now it's saying to leave that as is for the time being, so we should move that over there like so. And now we've got to work on, it looks like the pedal area, this part here. and that is a metal part, K0008, which will be this part here. So this is solid metal, so this is going to have some screwing, so we're looking at doing it that way. Let's get rid of this and this and this and this. Hopefully we won't need them anymore. Now then, so we're looking at this, so it's looking at, we've got another sprue here, a sprue numbered T, which I think is this sprue here. And somewhere on here is a number, the T, there we go. Okay. So, I'm just going to take this off the overhead, out of the way of the overhead, so it doesn't white out. I just want to get it so that it's, there you go. Right, okay, so we're looking at T11. We're looking at a right hand drive, which is how I've got it set up, because left hand drive, sorry, which is how I am. So we're looking for T11 left, so T11, there's T12 left. Right. Well, I'm going to guess there was only one T11, so I'm going to guess that is it. Okay, so we've got one pedal, and then we've got T13 left. So that's that one there. So T13 left. Okay. And then we want T15 left. 15 left. 15 looks like it can be left or right by the look of it, because there's only one of them. Okay. Righty-ho. Okay, so it looks like that's all we need off of that sprue for now. Oh no, T14. T14, that's that one. Okay, so we only had one difference there, which is a side corner, one of the footrests by the look of it. Okay, so let's get this off. Right, there we go. Okay, so we're looking at now, it is saying T14 and T15. So T14 goes into here, like so. There's just no, it's going to have to be fixed in. It's going to have to be glued in, that one, because it's just ever so sloppy, as you can see. And then it's saying T15, which is this one, actually sits on that, like so. So that is obviously the accelerator pedal, and that's going to have to be glued as well. So that's going to have to be glued in place. Right, so let's get that glue then. Oh no, it's that way. There we go. Right. Okay. I think over there. A bit of Tamiya extra thin. Okay. Right, 2 seconds and that will be set. Just going to clean that edge there. Right, so that's the pedal, that's the main pedal sorted, as you can see, the accelerator pedal. Plastic, I've got to say, looks plastic, doesn't feel very good at all. And if you're wondering what this is a Tamiya glue pot holder, which we sell on Ultimate Modeling Products, one of our unique products that we've designed and sell ourselves. But it does really, have a look, stop you from knocking over your bottle of Tamiya, which happens quite often if you're me, and I'll get through so many mats because of it. So, right, okay, so that accelerator pedal is done. Now that, because this is metal, this is going to have to be CA glued attached to that. We've now got the side footrest as well, which has got to go on. Again, that's going to have to be attached with metal, with CA glue as well. Again, I don't like these, they're very plasticky. Their finish is, you know, well, obviously plastic. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get a little bottle of, here we go, CA glue. And these. Yeah, don't want to do that. Right, so I'm going to pop a little bit of glue in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit around the edges of here, as you can see. It's not going to need too much really, it's just to stop it rattling about once it's in there. Okay, so we should have enough there, so we'll pop that on. That will set. Now this CA glue that I'm using, this stuff here, is 50 cents from the local Chinese, or the Hippochinos as they call them here. And it's probably the best super glue that I've ever come across. It's better than all the Zappa Gaps and all the expensive ones that you pay £4 a bottle for, £3 a bottle. 50 cents of this stuff is absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Goes off really well, really quick, nice and thin. Absolutely love the stuff. And at 50 cents a bottle, it doesn't matter if it goes hard or lumpy or anything like that. But I like it, I really do, I have to say. It's when it comes to CA glue, you don't have to spend a lot of money, I don't think, to get this stuff. And you bet packet 3 for 120 cents, I think it is, or something. It is actually cheaper than 50 cents a bottle, which was what, 40 pence? Well, I'm going to put a little bit more on that one, just because it's going to be a little bit fiddly, and there we go. I don't want that to come loose. Okay, so just press that in there. Wait. Good stuff. Okay, so that's going to take a couple of minutes to dry. So then we've got the pedals in there. So we've now got one pedal left to do, which is this top one here. And again, it just is meant to sit in this little groove here, like so. Now I'm going to pop a bit of CA in that as well, just because I'm not happy with it just sitting there. What I don't want to do, you see, is button the car up, do everything on the car, it's all done and dusted, and then you put it on a shelf and just a slight jolt knocks the pedal out, and you can't get to it at all. So just put a little bit of CA glue in there. And it's not going to be the best of contacts, but what it will do, it will just give it that extra little bit of a lock. And there you go, that's in. Right, so there we have the pedal arrangement done. And as you can see, it does look a bit plasticky. Thing is, as I said, I am building this for you guys on this thing as if it's out of the box. I'm not going to do any extras to it whatsoever. I got it cheap, so I don't mind doing that. But what I would say is if I'm going to buy another one, I would totally paint it and do everything to it, especially that sort of, but the thing is, for that sort of money, I think 400 quid originally, then I think these parts should be slightly better than this. Obviously, you're paying for the big die-cast metal part and the Lamborghini badge and things like that, with the licensing from Lamborghini for it. But I really do think some extra effort could have been made with these. But you know, as a modeler, I'm looking at this going, oh, I don't want to put it together like that. But I've got to, because I said I'd do it out the box, just to see how easy it is for anyone normal modeler who would come across this channel, or not a modeler that had seen one of these and thought, oh, you know what, I want to try and put one of them together so they can see what it's like. Okay, so we are done. So that's good. And I'm just going to have a look now onto the next page, and as you can see, the next page is popping everything together. Right, okay, so I'm going to get that out of the way. So I'm going to pop this down on here, and I'm going to grab this. And in fact, what I'm going to do is grab the wider one. That'll make me happier. Okay, so we're on got to put it on the sponge because we don't want any scratches or anything like that. Now, as you can see, she's already... Okay, so now we have to get this in. So this has to go... Okay, so after some finagling, you can see that I've managed to get that in. It's not a good fit. It's not good at all. Really angry at the moment. I've been swearing a lot off the screen. You literally have to bend this dashboard to get it in. And in doing so, I've moved a bit of plastic too far and it's seen the screw out, which is turned. So now there's a screw that won't stay in and hold the roof canopy up. Luckily, I think the rest will hold it okay. So, you know, I really wanted to love this kit, but anyway, so that is the dashboard in now. Now it's calling for the sidewalls to go in. So we're going to pop these in. So I'm going to pop this back one in first. And then we are going to go just first of all, the arm things have to go in, and the back clip has to go in, and then they have to go in there as well. So that's the back ones in. Okay, so that's one. Well, what I thought was one. Okay. So, right. So then we've got thing. This. Okay, so we've got this in now. So we're just going to screw in, we've got two screws we've got to put in here to hold these bits in. So hopefully they'll go in nice and easy. Okay. All right, that's all in properly. And we're all good. So just turn this over. As you can see, we've got the seat belts inside there as well. They're all good. And we've just got a bit of errant seatbelt here. We've just got to tuck in, which I'm just going to use the knife for a little bit at a time. There we go. Didn't see that on screen, sorry about that. We've got so that's good. Just make sure there's no errant seatbelt here. I'm a little disappointed, I've got to say. If you can see, let's have a look there. This bit here. This is a massive gap. There's nothing you can do about it, because if you do, it just pops out of the thing. So that gap is there to stay, and it's pretty much the same on the other side. That's the top here. You can see that gap there as well. Now what you can do about that. So I'm hoping that the doors are going to hide that somehow, because that's rather disappointing. Alright, let's just bend these seat belts back properly how we want them. Okay. Alright, so starting to look a bit like, let's zoom you out a bit. Starting to look a bit like a car. We've got one more piece to do, which is the footwell. That is this piece here. All these bits are super glued on nicely. They're all nice and tight. And this part just pops on. Oh no, it looks like we've got the seating section to go on first. So we've got to get these in first. Just make sure everything's okay with those, and they just pop in like so. Please just pop in like so. Like so. Okay, so we've just got to see, obviously there's some little clips there you've got to clip in on the side panels. And they are not lining up for some reason. There you go. So that one should as well. Why is that one not lining up? Everything else is lined up. Apart from this one back one. There we go. Right, so they are all popped in, and now we've got screw B. Goes into these corners here, so we've got to wait till we get this other part in first. And then screw E goes in through the centre there. Again, we've got to wait for that. And that's it. So what I do want to do is I'm going to want to glue these in. Let's get these in a bit for you. Okay. I'm just going to glue in these tags here, just because I'm not completely happy with how solid and rigid it is. It's starting to look like a Lambo though, which is nice. Right, okay, so let's get this part section in. And that has got to go like so. And I've got the steering rod there, that's funny, telling me to put the other bit in first when really this, there we go. Okay, so that is now slotted in. The steering rack is this bit here. It is now free in a little slot that you can see just there. So that's free to move. We've now got these little screws in here to do. We've got a screw here, screw here, screw here, 2 screws there. So it's calling for screw E, 1, 2, 3, 4 screw E's. Okay, so let's get those done first. So we've got an E through the center of that one there to that part. which seems just far too big for the hole again. Okay. And then we've got an E down here as well. So just on this front part here. Now this is going to lock everything into place. This one screw. I really want to make sure that that's nice and loads of room left there. But can you get the screw down? Can you how? It's like the screws are too long, way too long for the holes. Maybe they're just not meant to be tight, the screws. Who knows? I don't know if you can see this, but we've got a massive gap there. And again, we'll push that down, a massive gap on that screw there. There's no way to screw them down any further. They will not go in any further. And it definitely calls for screw E. And those screw E's. So, nope, that won't go any further. Neither will that. Okay, so massive amounts of play on that. Screw E's on the outsides here. And again, can't do it up. That's ridiculous. Oy. Definitely the right screws because the packet's on the floor. And it's the only packet I've opened today. That one actually fits. This one doesn't. Right. Still movement. Absolutely crazy. Nope, that one go down any further. Oh, ridiculous. Nope. Okay, well those won't go down any further. There's just loose gappy bits everywhere. Okay. We are looking at screw B now. We have 2 screw B's for these other 2 little ones on these holes here and here. Let's see what fun we can have with these screws. Oh my God. Those screws work. Well, one of them did anyway. And that won't go down any further. It's 36 degrees at the moment as well, I have to say. Alright, and I can see this ending up against the wall in a minute because I am not being chilled out with it. You can see it's all loose. Can't do the screws up any further. They will not go any further than how they've been done. So, that is where we are now. So, okay, so now, though, we have a complete cabin with steering wheel and consoles. It does seem like there should have been a decal in the center console, but, you know, maybe not. The only issue I've got is, so far, we'll do that in the summary, actually, because we've got one more thing to do. MT02 and MT01. Now, I don't know what MT is, what sprue that is. Is it this one? No, that's P1. So, MT. Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to pause you there while I go and look for the sprue, because it could take ages. Okay, I'm back. It turns out MT01 is the floor mats, as you can see. So let's open these up. I think I had a look at these in the review, actually. I'm going to take it from that end because I don't want to cut that open. Okay, so we've got 2 floor mats. Right. As you can see here, they are basically little pieces of felt. That's it, just felt. And they sit inside the driver's wells. And they do cover up some holes, which is nice. So that one goes in that side there, like so. Alright. What I wish they had told us about these beforehand, because I would have just glued them in onto the floor. You can't do that now because I don't want to glue everything, but they do. No, they don't sit okay at all. Surprised, not at all. So just see if I can bend it a little bit, because obviously where the arch of the that one's not too bad. Another bad thing that I can see, which you can't, is that there's 2 holes where it would be for the right-hand drive version here. You can see these. You can actually see light through them. I'm sure it'll be okay once we get all the engine in and everything like that. As it stands at the moment, you can actually see light through them. So I'm going to keep bending this because that is perfect. Okay, that's better. Right, so I'm going to have to do the same for this one. There we go. Okay, now that sits better. So that's okay, so that's good. And we need to get that underneath the steering rod as well. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, so you can't see those, but it will just add a little finishing touch at the end that you might be able to see if you shine a torch through the windscreen and things like that. So that, I think, is the cabin fully done and assembled and done and everything now. It's lucky because that one is just powered off above me. So that is it. As you can see, we have a fully made cockpit, and that's it. All ready to rock and roll for the next stage, which we'll do in the next video. So thanks for bearing with me, and I will cut out the swear words that I used. Thoughts so far after this second part of the build. Let me just, because that's going to be, there you go. That's going to be right in the microphone otherwise. So, thoughts so far. It's okay. Definitely not worth the money so far from what I've seen. A lot of it doesn't fit properly. I can see lots of gaps that you guys can't see. There's gaps everywhere abound. Half of the screws don't actually go all the way down. What I would imagine that is that the holes aren't drilled deep enough in places. It can't be just a one kit issue. It must be across the board. So I'm surprised I haven't heard about it before, but there's no way of getting some of those screws any further in. I've got the base of my hand is absolutely red raw and sore from trying to push the screwdriver in. They just will not go any further. I've had 2 screws turn on me as well. which are out. Luckily one was in there and one was down in the base. The rest of the screws are holding that up fine. But at the moment, she's looking good. It's going to be a very impressive kit at the end of it. I can see that already. It is going to be a big nice display thing for sure. I mean, just that, and that's just the cabin. So far, I'm going to say, if you were paying normal price for it, I'd be quite disappointed at the moment. But that's from a modeller's point of view. These kits I don't think are aimed at modelers. I think these kits are aimed big boys toys, something like that, a Lamborghini or car enthusiast, that sort of thing. I don't think they're aimed at modelers per se because of the screws and things like that. But who knows? I don't know what Pocher's aims were at all. But that's the feeling I get. It's not a kit made for modelers. I think there's a few things there that modelers go, oh God, you know, if a modeler was to build this, go, oh Christ, no, you know, that's wrong. But let's see how it progresses. I will do another video very soon. Fingers crossed we won't have to wait as long as last time. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.